Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we are playing some White Weenie. I've just returned from a vacation for Christmas over the last few days, and this is the deck that I've been itching to play recently. The deck has been a favorite of mine for a while. I've been playing it for a couple of years, pretty much as long as I've been playing Pauper. And I really like the deck, but it's also been specifically pretty good recently, or at least it's been getting some challenge wins and just placing pretty well in challenges as well. So it seems like it's in a pretty good spot. And yeah, so I've been taking this as well to my local Pauper events. I had two this weekend, both 3-round events that I took White Weenie to. This exact list that I'm going to be playing today. Well, actually, the sideboard's a little different, but mostly the same list. And I went 3-0 for both of those, which was pretty sweet. I guess one of them I had a bye for, so it was more like 5-0 over the whole weekend. But in any case, I've been really enjoying this deck. So it's not going to be too dissimilar from the lists that you've seen around, but I'm sure I have a couple differences, a couple cards that I like to play that other people don't. So, of course, we're starting with 4 Lunarch Veteran, 4 Novice, and 4 Thraben Inspectors as our 1-drops. I also like a 1 of Steadfast Unicorn, so I'm playing that as just a way to break board stalls. It's really the mirror winner. It wins against elves and a lot of other decks like that pretty nicely. Anything that you kind of get into a board stall, having the ability to give +1/+1, or even in the very late game, +2/+2 to your whole team, not to mention Vigilance, can just seal the deal. So we're doing that. Of course, we have 4 Skyfishers, 4 Rafine's Informants as our nice 2-drops, 4 Thraben Charms for some removal. I'm playing 3 Prismatic Strands. Some lists have gone down to 2. Some play as many as 4. This is kind of where I like to be at. It's about enough to draw 1 every single game. Obviously, that doesn't always happen, but like 3 is usually the number I want when I want to draw 1 card a game, but I don't necessarily want a second one. Obviously, certain matches it's better to draw multiple, but that's where I'm at with that. 2 Summon Chocomogs. This card's really good, so I'm almost thinking about going up to 3 or 4. I've seen some lists that have been getting some challenge wins or high places with 4 Chocomogs, so we might be trying that out later. A couple Guardian's Pledge, 4 Battle Screech, and I also like a Remosian Rally. Not only is this just a free way to pump your team, it's obviously a little worse than Guardian's Pledge or Chocomog or anything like that for attacks, but there have been many times where I have kept one of my creatures alive against a burn spell or any other numeral-based removal, like a Defile or anything like that, because we have the Remosian Rally, and keeping a key Lunarch Veteran against a burn deck, or of course Skyfisher against a flying deck, anything like that can be really, really important, so I like having one of these. Now, I also like to play, and I've been trying more and more, but I like 3 Journey to Nowheres. That's what I've been enjoying recently. The reason is that I just like more removal than 4 Thraben Charms. I feel like this deck, I play it more as a mid-range deck than an aggro deck, and for that reason I want more removal, so we're trying 3 of these out and just seeing how that goes. For the sideboard, we have 3 Martyr of Sands. This card's really good. It's not quite as good without Squadron Hawk in the main deck, but Squadron Hawk I just don't care for quite as much, and Martyr of Sands still seems to be one of the better ways to gain life to survive against Rakdos Madness, Mono Red Madness, or any other of those burn decks. An extra Journey to Nowhere and a Destroy Evil for some more removal, 2 Revoke Existence, 2 Standard Bearer, 2 Holy Light, and then 4 Dust to Dust. So let's just take this for a league and see how we do. All right, here we are, round 1. We have a 1-lander. Not going to cut it. Most 1-landers are already a mulligan, but that one specifically didn't have a ton of 1-drops. It had a couple, but this has a bunch of 1-drops, still a 1-lander. If we get to the second mana, we have a bunch of card draw from the Inspectors. We also have an Informant, which can draw us another card. I think we should probably mulligan again, but it does definitely hurt. Now we have all Battle Screeches, which could be really good, but I have to either put back a Plains, which makes it really hard to get to even the first Battle Screech, or I have to put back 2 Battle Screeches. I think we're going to keep 2 of them. We have an Inspector to draw a card. If we have an Informant or anything to discard 1, it shouldn't be too hard to flash it back. I don't know. We are against something red, so I wish I had been able to keep a hand with a Veteran, but obviously that just didn't happen. We'll just pass here with the Inspector as a blocker, crack our Clue token on their end step. They go for Faithless Looting, so it's definitely Madness. And it's Rakdos Madness, actually, because they discard Gnomes of the Vein that they can't cast. That's kind of nice. A little bit of wasted value there. They do also discard a Snacker, so like a Thraben Charm wouldn't be a terrible draw, although Plains would be our best draw here. Nice, we did get there. That lets us play the Chocomog we just drew. It also lets us play Guardian's Pledge, and if we get another land, it lets us Battle Screech. They do just bolt it. That's a little unfortunate. I should have waited because I probably would have attacked, but now do I want to trade 2 damage for 1 damage? It's kind of a tough call. In general, I don't think that's a good trade. But if I attack, it's actually more likely that my Inspector survives, in which case I might be able to Battle Screech with Flashback next turn, whereas if I leave it back, they might bolt it to get through for a damage. I think the chance they want to waste a bolt on an Inspector is probably low, so let's just leave it back. So obviously, a Plains is our best draw here, so I can just cast the Battle Screech, and then Guardian Spludge the following turn. We can kind of get there pretty quick. They play another Mountain, so still missing black mana, Flashback the Faithless Looting to get their Snacker, discard a Kitchen Imp and a Bolt, or no, a Vampire's Kiss. So yeah, no black mana is definitely screwing them over a little bit here. We do hit the Plains, that's really good. I'm going to hope that they're not one of the few decks just main decking and the Festivities, because that would be pretty unfortunate. But if they're not, I'd probably just Battle Screech again next turn, and then we go for the Guardian's Pledge the following turn to win. Because I could Guardian's Pledge here, but that's only going to hit for like 15. Do we want to block either of these? This one comes back. I think we'll take it. Maybe I should just trade off because I'm going to get enough creatures from the Battle Screech, but I kind of figure this way I can play another Battle Screech, keep up enough creatures, and then I can attack with whatever else, and then the following turn I can Guardian's Pledge. Feed's Informant could let me just discard the Battle Screech, but I think I just want more guys. So let's flash this back, and I'll just swing for 4. Do you think it's possible to play with limited lands? Can you be a little more specific? Is what possible to play, and what do you mean by limited lands? Like this deck, or the Pauper format, or they cast a Robbery, and they get a Kitchen Imp. They did get their black mana finally. Even if they block 3 of these, they take 18 from this pledge though. And they could block 4. If they block everything, that's also gonna just be really good for us. If they don't block everything, I believe they die. So, because yeah, 4, we have 9 attackers, so 5 unblocked is gonna be 15 damage. So they're either going to 1 and losing their whole board, or they're going to just lose. Oh, right. Also, they can't block them because they don't have enough flyers. Okay. Well, then we just win. Deal them 18. So we get Martyr of Sands. We get... It's kind of it. Martyr of Sands. I got 8 to 9 lands in my deck, and lots of people say that 20 lands should be the max you need. I mean, if you're playing a Pauper deck, since that's the format we're playing, you're probably going to want 16 to 20 lands. 8 or 9 is not going to do it unless you're playing some like low to the ground combo deck. Graveyard Hate from the Thraben Charms is good, but I don't think we need the single target removal of the Journeys. They're not playing Artifact lands, so I don't need to bring any of these. Standard Bearer just eats like 1 bolt. It's not very good. Holy Light, I don't think it's necessary. So I think we're just bringing in the Martyrs and seeing how that does. So they didn't have the best start by any means because they were missing black mana and stuff. But the mulligan to 5 did work. If we were stuck on 1 land, we definitely could have given them the chance to come back into that game, even with their mediocre start. So mulliganing is very important. This hand's solid. No life gain is a bit unfortunate, but we just have some creatures. We have some Thraben Charms. I'm just going to lead on a Grange. Looks like it's probably going to be a tap land regardless, so I'd rather open up the possibility of doing Informant or maybe Thraben Charm. Yeah, obviously we can't stop the sneaky Snacker. So I could hold up a Thraben Charm for another Snacker. We have to actually just do something, so I can't really afford that. I'm going to Informant and pitch this Battle Screech unless I get like a Prismatic Strands. And then next turn, if I want, I can play 2 1-drops and then Battle Screech, which seems pretty good, assuming they don't bolt an Informant or anything. There's another Robbery. Well, another draw 2. With a Kitchen Imp. That is annoying. Really wanted to land there, but I guess by playing 2 of these, casting Battle Screech, I can block the Snacker. I can block them both if I want. We're in a fine spot, but we have a lot of life gain and damage prevention in this deck, and we haven't seen any of it. Obviously, we kept a hand without any of it. It's possible I should have mulliganed to find some more, but I don't know. They go for a looting before they attack with the Snacker. This usually means they have a Kitchen Imp to discard, or in case they get a Kitchen Imp, which is fair, but it does mean I get to block their Snacker and then Thraben Charm their graveyard. Well, I guess I'll be taking a lot of damage from the Kitchen Imps. Maybe they're just fine with that. Or they don't even attack with the Snacker. Okay. In that case, I think I will just double block. Can't afford to take damage from these every turn. I mean, it's not my favorite thing ever, but they also probably do have Electric Courier and the Festivities or something like that, so using up the 1/1s when I can seems decent. Okay, I can Informant, Battle Screech again. That also gives me another draw at a land drop. Of course, I could just Thraben Charm to kill an Imp or exile their graveyard. Neither of those feels exceptionally strong at the moment, though. It's kind of tough, because I could attack the Informant here, and if they block, then I can exile their graveyard, and I'm kind of okay with that. But if they don't block, and then I try to play this Informant to pitch a Battle Screech, they could kill it in response. but they're probably not going to anticipate. They might not anticipate the Battle Screech going in the graveyard, which means I could cast it. I think that's fine. Let's go for an attack. I want to start getting some damage on them. And again, I'm kind of fine with this trade. Okay, let's see. I don't want them to use the Faithless from the graveyard. So let's just pass to their upkeep and then exile their graveyard. The reason I'm okay with that trade is that if see, this is why I was doing this. Sazakep's Brew. This is why I was waiting until their next turn, was because they discarded another Snacker here. And now I can exile that as well. So by playing the Informant and then getting the Battle Screech, I was going to be blocking probably 1 Kitchen Imp again and taking 2. And by killing the Snacker, I'm also still only taking 2. So that was my goal, was just to take less damage there. Now again, if we don't hit lifelink, life gain of some sort, like a Veteran would be really nice here, then we're just going to die because we're at 5, even with the Thraben Charm on this guy. I think I'd rather dig for a land or life gain. There's a Martyr of Sands. Hey, I mean, I'm at 5 life, but if I can survive this one turn, Martyr can gain me 12, maybe 15 life, but that's an Alms of the Vein, so if they just have a Bolt, I'm going to die. And they do. Yeah, no lands. I didn't draw any lands, and I just drew a bunch of pretty useless cards. So let's try to keep a hand with more life gain. Martyr or a Veteran to start would be really nice. It would be ideal, even. I mean, this is just an okay hand in general. We have plenty of lands. We have some card draw. I don't really think we can mulligan this. We're on the play. Yeah, we're going to keep. Like, at this point, I would mulligan like a mediocre 7. I mean, I guess this is slightly above mediocre, just because, like, we hit land drops, which is nice. We hit creatures, so, like, their Epicures can't get through. But we don't have flyers. We don't have life gain. We just have some somewhat slow card draw to get there. I don't know. It just feels like it's insane to mulligan a hand like this. I mean, I certainly would against like a combo deck where I need interaction. And I guess this is a deck where I need interaction, just not quite as fast as a combo deck. I don't know. Maybe this was mulligan. Oh, that's interesting. So I was 90% going to crack this clue so that if I drew like a Lunarch Veteran or something, I could gain life off of these guys instead of just like playing them for no value. No value other than their clues. But drawing the Chocomog actually gives me the potential to go on the offensive here, which I like quite a bit. Now, will they bolt this right away? Probably, but at least I can get in for 6. That's still not bad. They plot a robbery. Skyfisher. If this guy survives, Skyfisher can pick it back up, so it has more triggers. Like 6 damage here is just a lot. Like I was saying at the beginning, this is generally a deck I consider more of a mid-range deck than a aggro deck, but it definitely has aggressive draws like this. There's the Fiery Temper, definitely going to kill the Chocomog. But I still get in for 3 and get to play a Skyfisher, get another clue, so not bad. Obviously another Anthem of some sort would be really nice. Well, Martyr of Sands, just a little too late. We're still trying to go aggressive, so I'm just going to play this and replay an Inspector. I do want to go aggressive, but actually this Martyr of Sands, I could be more mana efficient by cracking a clue, and it would let me have more cards for this Martyr of Sands, so let me just pass here. I was already not sure if I wanted to be mana efficient and crack the clue or replay the Inspector for the aggression, but the Martyr of Sands I think really tips it over. Because, like, yeah, we're winning the race by a lot here, but they could definitely swing it in their favor by getting a couple creatures and getting some life gain, although just plotting a robbery is not as scary as I was thinking it might be, and that's a good draw. That's not bad either. So let's just swing 4, and they got a Kitchen Imp, which they're going to try to block an Inspector with. I think I'll just Thraben Charm that. I don't want to lose one of my Inspectors. I don't have another way to keep it alive unless I want a Prismatic Strands, which I don't. And their graveyard is not looking to be that relevant this game. Did we play a land this turn? No. So I was thinking about playing one of these, but I think I'm going to crack a clue to, again, fill our hand for the Martyr. But I'm going to do it now because if we get a Plains, I can play that and play the Inspector. And we weren't holding anything up anyway. We could have bluffed like another Thraben Charm, but that wasn't really going to stop them from anything. So I think this is just best. Okay, Dark Withering is going to take out the Skyfisher. But they're really low on life, and we're going to, the way we're playing this, we're getting the Martyr of Sands to gain us probably 12 or 15 life. So it seems pretty good. Grab the prize on a Faithless Looting. Rafine's Informant. So we don't quite have lethal with this pledge. Let's just attack for 2. See if they want to, like, another Kitchen Imp. Yeah, I mean, I guess I played into that a little bit. I'll just Guardian's Pledge. Puts him to 5, keeps my guy alive. I think it's worth keeping the creature alive. And I'll just play another Inspector. It's either that or the Strands, which actually might not have been a terrible play. But they're going to be able to block a guy with from the pledge anyway. I don't know. This turn, because they had the Kitchen Imp, did make it, like, I was planning to play the Martyr of Sands, gain our 12 life, but the way they did that made it throw us off a little bit. I don't know. I think we're still in a fine spot. There's a Kiss, though. Gains more life for them. Cast a Robbery. Sacking a land. Another Strands. I definitely think it's the turn to play a Strands, probably. Well, I guess I could Informant to pitch a Strands. Hold that up. We're going down. I could also just play the Martyr, crack that for a bunch, and then Rafine's Informant. We still have more clues. I think we'll just go for the Informant. More clues to draw more stuff. More white spells. Although we get a land here, so we'll put a counter on this Inspector. Swing for 4. I mean, between the 3 strand activations we have, we'll probably be okay. They have Dark Withering. I was going to say, if they had another Kitchen Imp, that would be annoying. I mean, that's still kind of annoying, but we can't do anything about it, so they'll take 2. I guess Dark Withering is a nice way to play around the strands, because it actually kills the creature. Grab the prize, Alms. Alms is life. Not that. Life loss. So I can't prevent that. So we go down to 9. I think that's fine. Jagged Barrens. We'll crack a clue. Spectre. Plains. We're going to start by cracking a clue. See if we get a spell for this Martyr. We don't. We're low enough, I'd probably just play it as a way to gain 6. And then swing for 5 here. They go to 3. I'm going to crack this, probably, so there's no reason I need to hold up this strand, so it'd probably be better to play the Inspector and have an extra damage. So I think we just do this here. Oh, I guess they can't deal 8 damage in instant speed. Okay, I was going to say there's a moment where I sacrifice this. I don't actually have the strands up. They could respond by dealing me enough, but I don't think there's any way they could deal me 8 off of 2 mana in this deck, like where I'm not expecting a Fire Blast. And now I play the Inspector. I have these strands up again. Palms of the Vein, yep. And this is why I wanted to play the Inspector. That puts them back up to 6 damage, or 6 life, and I still have lethal. So they need more life or more removal or something. Or a creature. Definitely have some options. Vampire's Kiss. They're hitting all the black spells I can't counter with the strands. But now they're pitching a mountain, so that's a pretty good sign that their hand might just be full of lands. They did gain 2 off the Vampire's Kiss, though, so we have to find another Kiss. Dude! We have to find another Anthem. Even a Remosian Rally would be lethal here, unless they have another Kiss, but they've already played 3 of them, I think. Yeah, that's what we're looking for sure. Or Guardian's Pledge, obviously. Choco would do it. We'll crack a clue. Lunarch Veteran is a little late, but I'll play it. I think we attack for 5. I want to leave up strands, both strands, and the ability to flash them back, I think. I mean, it might not matter if they just have all black spells, but we've already seen 2 Alms and 3 Vampire's Kisses, so we're really hoping they don't have many or any more. What's up, Ben? How's it going? They have a Fiery Temper. It's not at our face, but we need this guy to deal damage, so... Also, I don't mind getting the strands in the graveyard here, the second one. So we'll prevent that. Put him to 5. And we want to avoid the black spells, not only because we can't prevent their damage, but also because they gain more life. And they've already survived long enough here. They have a Snacker. That's fine. It's going to be tapped, so it shouldn't be too relevant, unless they gain enough life to survive again. They ditch a mountain to their last blood. Snacker comes back. And they Faithless Looting. They are digging quite a bit. Discard a Fiery Temper, which is definitely going to get stranded. They're going for this because they know they don't have the damage on us, which is nice, but I also want to make sure we have damage on them because if this dies, we don't have lethal. Luckily, they can't respond with a Faithless Looting. They could with like a Sazakep's Brew if they have that, but I also do have the second strands in case they do, which it looks like they might. Electrickery the Veteran. I knew I should have... I thought about this and I don't know why I didn't. I knew I should have tapped this Veteran to cast the other strands. Because now I have to use this, and I don't necessarily want to, because then they probably have a bolt in response. In which case, they kill this. Yeah, I messed that up, but we're going to cast it anyway. Keeping the Veteran around does seem decent. But yeah, if I'd cast the first strands with this Veteran, then they wouldn't have been able to respond in this way. Yeah. Alright, they kill that. I prevent damage from... red sources. Might as well do black sources on the second one. They are down to 1 card, but they have a Snacker. We draw Plains. Well, it's going to be really unfortunate if I lose because of that. Because they have they can hit me for 2 with the Snacker. I don't have a blocker because I didn't let this die, which I could have. And yeah, I could have also... I don't know. I thought about if I had just let it die, I could have the flyer, and then also I could have a Prismatic Strands up. And there's probably no way I can die next turn. But here they could definitely like Faithless Looting into double bolt or whatever. So that was a big mistake. They do find 1 Fiery Temper, discard a Jagged Barrens. So that's 4. They play Mountain, flashback another looting. All right. So it's a Hail Mary. We'll see if they hit. Kitchen Imp, that kills us. Well, that is unfortunate. Yeah, not tapping the Lunarch Veteran was a minor mistake. But then using the Prismatic Strands there was a pretty big mistake. That was just thrown. I could have definitely won that one. But alas, I guess I'm rusty. Yeah, it was a decent game, but I should have played better. That's alright. We'll see what we can do here. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, decent hand against Gates. Well, veterans, this is what I wanted against the burn deck, was 2 early veterans. I guess we'll take it here, though. Main deck Relic for our veterans. I mean, they probably won't have a ton of ways to kill them, but also is good against Strands, Battle Screech, etc. Gates are so good, I'm crushing right now with Naya Gates. Nice. Gates are definitely pretty sweet. I've been seeing people trying Esper Gates, basically just traditional Call Gates, but splashing black for cast down and stuff, and it seems alright. Seems pretty cool. Esper Gates, yep. And obviously there's like the Esper Cryogen Glinthawk Gates, which is decent too. I could attack, they block, and then they eat my guy. Don't really like that. I could play a veteran, but then next turn if I don't get a plains, I'm playing this Grange tap to play an Inspector, whereas I'd probably prefer to just crack the clue from the Inspector. And the life gain isn't super relevant, so I think we'll just do this. I guess if they're willing to trade a cat, I don't have a ton of removal, so if they're willing to trade a cat for this veteran, that's probably fine. Even if they then relic the guy from the grave. I don't know, maybe that's bad, but cats are scary. I guess less so with the Prismatic Strands. Maybe that was silly. There's a rally. Yeah, let's just crack the clue in case I get a plains so I can keep the Grange around. If not, obviously we're playing it. Just passing here. On my last paper tourney with Naya plus Ephemerate Gates. Really enjoying it. What's the Ephemerate for? But yeah, that seems pretty sweet. I like all the stuff you can do with Gates. There's definitely some sweet stuff. Brainstorm after the Hawks. Cycle Alorian. Pretty good. Gatekeeper Vine for Basilisk Gates. Really gatekeepers. Okay. Had an Arna Elementalist but ditched it. Seems cool. Let's see. I can Battle Screech since we got rid of our veteran, which I did think about. Getting rid of the veteran makes it easier to Battle Screech against a relic since they're tapped out here. I can do this and don't have to fear the relic. That's pretty good. So look, it was all worth it. I mean, they'll have strands of their own, but if they like tap out again, with Guardian's Pledge and Remotion Rally, I have 20 damage on board, which isn't quite lethal, plus they have blockers, but can maybe get in for a good amount. Play a Heap Gate, another Sacred Cat, pump in the first cat. Okay, swing for 5, they go to 26. I'll probably just play 3 creatures here. Veteran, Inspector, Informant, so that next turn my buffs are pretty big. Ditching the Prismatic Strands is a waste to the Relic, though. So I could also just go Veteran Strands to block their life gain next turn. No, I think the extra creatures are just better. They might not tap out again, which would be smart, but I think it's fine. Oh, I just realized this is on black, so they are playing Esper Gates. I'm hoping they don't have Arms of Hadar in their main deck. If so, we're screwed, but I'm pretty sure the lists I've been seeing have been running them in the sideboard, so might be screwed anyway. In games 2 and 3. Yeah, so I could get rid of the strands, but anything we discard is gone. So I think I'd rather have the strands in hand as a potential way to block their damage. So I guess we'll get rid of this guy. And we'll swing. I can deal 4 damage plus keep my bird alive if I want to rally. But next turn I could deal more damage. It won't be that much more. Keeping the bird around is pretty good too. I guess we'll just go for it. This also fills our graveyard more so that our strands might survive easier. Does that mean you love Fogs as much as Focus? Does what mean? Do I like Fogs as much? Because of Prismatic Strands? Because I certainly don't like Fogs as much as he does. Another Basilisk Gate. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, they play a Hawk. Pull 2 more out. And pump up the cat for 6. Which we'll take. We have 8 creatures, so that is 24 damage. Not really expecting them to not block. But, I mean, 24 damage is a lot. Another relic, okay. Well, Prismatic Strands is never getting flashback to look like. Sacred Cat's such a menace. I agree. I think I'm probably playing Skyfisher, pick up Grange, play it again, and then we have 24, 25, 26, 27 damage. They have to block something, and if they block a 1-power creature, I still get them. So they have to block a big creature or they have to block 2. Even if they do, and then like cat to gain a lot, they're not gaining 24 back, that's for sure. So veteran, I'd actually rather they block a veteran, I think, or a bird. Because if they only block one, I guess I'll put it on a bird. Then they're going to die. But they'll probably do the math and make sure not to die. But they have to block with both, in which case the cat, they only have one cat. I don't know. So the way I usually do easy math like this for White Weenie is count your number of creatures. I have 8 attackers. Every single one has at least 1 power, so that's 8 power. And then multiply 8, the number of creatures, by the Guardian's Pledge. That's 16, so that's 24 power. And then I just count everything, all the power in excess of 1. So this is a 2 power guy, so that's 1 more. This is a 3 power guy, that's 2 more. So add 3 to your 24, 27 damage. So that means they block a 1 power creature, which becomes a 3 power. They block 3 damage, so they're still taking 24. So again, they have to block 2 creatures or 1 creature with more than 1 power to be able to survive. If they only block here, they would die. But they block 2. It's still way too much damage. Well, let's make sure we know what we're doing here. They have plus 10 on this cat, which could be plus 12 if they play a gate. So that's 13. And if they have a Journey to Nowhere or removal spell, they could get rid of this cat, or the Skyfisher, and I just die, taking 13. That is risky, but currently they only have 5 cards in hand, 3 of which we know are Island, Squadron Hawk. So they would need to have off their top deck and the 2 cards in hand, Gate plus removal spell, but that would kill us. Now I could just do this safe thing and hold up, like trade here, go off for my Prismatic Strands on their turn, but then if they have a Prismatic Strands to block our next attack, then the Guardian's Pledge. They don't have enough mana? Oh, sure, yeah, of course. It costs 6 mana to do that, so they'd need a 1 mana way to get rid of our Skyfisher, which they shouldn't have. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I was forgetting to count their mana. Well, we'll put them to 4 then. And they relic us. No one really main decks Sunlance. Well, and even Sunlance is... Sunlance is what it's called, but it's non-white creature. 3 damage to a non-white creature. So that wouldn't even work here. But that would be funny if they had that. But you're right. I can't think of a 1-drop that they would likely be playing that's going to kill us here. So they brainstorm, play an island, and if they hold up like a Prismatic Strands, if they have a Strands, they might be able to survive for a couple more turns, which could be annoying, but we can pressure them every turn. We have our own Strands. We'll probably be okay. They do have the Journey, plus they embalm the Sacred Cat. So I often see your short switching for cards to enter Pauper. Are there any card in Pauper that you wish were not? Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some unfun cards in Pauper. I'm pretty biased against combo decks, so I'm sure it would not make a lot of people happy, but like Spy does not feel like it adds anything interesting to me. I feel like the games are not fun, really, on either side. So that's one I would be okay with going away. Alright, they're at 10. They have a cat to block here, and then they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But they gain 1, so they go up by 3. So I need any way to pump by 3. Well, might as well crack a clue, because I can play the Strands. Didn't get there, but we can just... I think we just swing with everything except for one of these guys. So I have a blocker, plus I have a way to flash back the Strands. 3, 4, 5. This also is lethal, so they have to block with the Sacred Cat. So they go to 4 again. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Spy. I'm not a big fan of Tron. I mean, you're basically just asking, like, what would I ban at this point? Which is a fine question, too. But I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think anything is so egregious it needs to be banned at the moment. But those are some of the things that I don't have a lot of fun playing against. They preordain, play a Seagate. They're going to pump the cat, I assume. Yep, 7. So they, I mean, that's lethal, so I have to block or Strands, so I might as well do both. Yeah, we'll Strands here so they don't gain the life. But they have 3 mana up, so I kind of anticipate that they're going to have a Strands, in which case we're not going to kill them on the crackback. Okay, never mind. They just concede. Alright, I guess since they're playing, I'm pretty sure they're playing black because they had a land on black, so if they're playing cast downs, they might not play Prismatic Strands because that could be an easy cut, but not 100% sure. They did have a Journey. I'm not sure Revoke is super necessary though. Standard Bearer, choosing targets as part of casting a spell or activating an ability. So they have to target this with their gates, so that seems good. Destroy Evil blows up anything they've targeted, plus enchantments. They play Journey to Nowhere and maybe Modern Age, so I think that's good. And they're going to have, I think, Arms of Fadar from the sideboard. I don't have much to stop that except for my current ways to already pump, which I'm going to try to play around Arms of Fadar as best I can, but I'm also just a deck that loses to it. Journeys to Nowhere, they obviously have some relevant creatures. It's nice to take a cat the first time, but other than cat, like, this doesn't hit Guardian. Taking a Hawk is pretty bad. Taking an Outlaw Medic is okay. I like Unicorn here. Ride's End. That card's decent. Everything else seems pretty decent. Like, I feel like Thraben Charm being able to exile the graveyard or hit something at instant speed's probably more important than the Journey. Maybe because they have the relics, they're probably going to keep those in. Like, veterans aren't as important. The life gain from Relic isn't super important anyway. Maybe I'll do like that. I mean, it is still a body that can come back, which is decent chump blockers, assuming they don't have the relics, but they're probably going to keep relics in, so I feel like minimizing the graveyard reliance is good. Not to mention, as I said before, Lunarch Veteran with Battle Screech actually gives them an opportunity to exile our Battle Screech before we can flash it back, which is not something I actually want, so maybe I should have just cut 3 of those. This hand's decent. A lot of Inspectors, which can be decent value in a slower matchup like this. Journey to Nowhere can be decent if we get like an early Outlaw Medic or Cat or something. I don't think I need to Journey it now, though, because if they just start gating it up, I'm kind of fine with that. And if they don't, then what does it matter, you know, for now. So I think I'll just play these guys. There's the Seagate on black. Any thoughts on trying to run counters in a mono white list? Like counter spells? Are you saying like Mana Tithe, like Illumination and or Mana Tithe? I think it's like cheeky. It's kind of cool, but it's not really very good, I don't think. Illumination, counter target artifact or enchantment spell. That spell's caster gains an amount of life equal to it. No, I think I'd rather just have a disenchant than this. Mana Tithe is cool if it's going to get there. But I think, I don't know, it kind of depends on how you want to play the deck. I like playing this as more of a mid-range deck because there's so much card advantage and the deck is relatively slow unless you have the perfect draw. And in that case, I don't think Mana Tithe is going to be good because I'm expecting to go pretty late. Whereas if you're trying to play it more as an aggro deck, I think it might be okay to do that. But yeah, I wouldn't play it in my version, but I could see it having some value. I'm going to go for the Journey now because I was going to play this Inspector, so I needed to play a 2-drop. It could have been cracking a Clue, but I might as well start getting in for 3 damage and pressuring them. Now they kind of have to find, well, if they have their board wipe, which I didn't really play around even though I said I was going to, then we're toast. But they have to kind of find, if they don't have that, they have to find another lifelinker or something to stop us again and start gaining life. And they did right away, but what are you going to do? Grange can keep one of these guys alive. I mean, I can hold up Strands, but they're splashing black, not red, so there's not going to be a breath weapon. So this isn't going to stop that. Of course, if they, like, pump up, that's not going to matter. I think I just crack a Clue. This means, like, usually you should just hold up Strands just in case. But I think right here, if I had gotten, like, a Skyfisher, I could play that and actually save another Inspector from the arms I'm expecting here. So that would be pretty good, but I've been considering what you said in a video a while back about experimenting. I really want to make Gossamer Chains work. Gossamer Chains is white for an enchantment. Return this enchantment to its owner's hand. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by target unblocked creature this turn. So single target fog. And they didn't end up wiping the board, and they actually went for a pump here. So it might have ended up being better to hold up the Strands. It's not the end of the world to take a hit here, but still. And they have a cat. That is a very interesting card. And I think the big thing about trying to make a deck work is like an interesting new deck is like starting with an interesting build around. Not that every deck has to do that, but yeah, I think there's some potential there. It looks restrictive. Of course, you have to be heavy white because it's white. It's an enchantment that can get blown up, but that's not going to come up too often. You just bounce it back to your hand, which is kind of cool. And it prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by target unblocked creature. The fact that it targets and not like choose a creature, kind of like a what is it? Like a circle of protection. It's kind of unfortunate because then like it's not going to work against the Voltron decks that all go in on one creature, like a heroic or Bogles. So it's interesting, but I don't know, maybe it's just a one of. Yeah, I mean, it could be cool. I don't think it's a card for a white weenie, probably more of a control deck, but definitely an interesting one. What are we doing here? I think I'm just playing this Informant. I'm not ditching a Strands because I actually want to cast that twice. Also, we got a Thraben Charm, and I'll just attack with everybody here, try to get some damage on him. And it won't work on Terror. Exactly. You're going to have to pay the extra 2 for Terror is another unfortunate part. I was thinking an Azorius Control Shell that mostly uses mono blue Terror with some interesting white cards. Yeah, could be interesting for sure. Okay, well, we don't have an answer to Guardian, except Prismatic Strands, but that's not an answer. That's just like a momentarily stopping it. Crack a Clue here. Yeah, Journey doesn't answer it either. So we have like 2 turns until we find another Strands, or, I mean, we're not dead right away, but we're pretty close because they find a gate. If they get like a Heap Gate, they could make it lethal this turn. So I have to hold up Strands. I can't attack into it very well either. Ugh, that is unfortunate. Let's Journey to take away a Medic. Oh, wait, I can't play a Skyfisher. I have to hold up the Strands. I don't know why I was just blanking on that. I mean, I could Skyfisher Informant pitch the strands, but then we're just losing a turn. All right, let's pass. Yeah, so we have a couple turns to go wide enough and then get like a Guardian's Pledge to go all out and win. Yeah, that's one way to do it. Pump on the cat. Okay, so they're not going in on the Guardian this turn. This is 6/6. I want to save the strands for the Guardian, but I don't want this to hit us. I think I'm just going to Thraben Charm this down. Takes 10 damage. If they want to counterspell that, that's probably fine. We haven't seen any counterspells, but I would assume they're still playing them. Cat comes back. Relic. Yeah, also, the Journey, I could have saved until... Oh, there's the pledge. Until I Skyfishered and I could have taken a cat. That could have been better. Relic, away of planes. What do we get here? Ugh. So if I attack with everything, they block here. This would be 13 if I Guardian's Pledge. That's not lethal. I need a lot more damage. Like, I'm kind of close, but they have blockers and lifelinkers. So I'm going to do this to, like, draw... I was thinking about picking up the Grange for an extra counter, but I don't think one damage is going to make that big of a difference. I think if Clue finds another Guardian's Pledge, or if it finds like a Motion Rally, or a Unicorn maybe, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I guess that's fair. They're going to keep pumping the cat until the Guardian's lethal, but if I take this, we're at 8, so it is going to be lethal, plus this is going to be, they're going to be at 24, it's going to be a lot harder to kill. I think I got a Strands here. Part of me definitely wanted to wait until the Guardian was coming in, but I think if we're going to win, we have to keep them at a low enough life total I can actually pledge. There's the rally. So if we get like a... Of course, they can exile the Strands. I kind of forgot about that. So if they get the gate untapped, we could just die. Well, we're trying to win this turn ideally, but I don't know if that's going to happen. That's pretty good. It's just a creature I can play, so I can rally and Guardian's Pledge. But if we don't win this turn, we're certainly dead, because I wouldn't have the Strands. I'd have a blocker. Well, I think our best bet is attacking with everything regardless, so let's do that. Went to the shop and just spent an hour or so digging around through old singles and came home with a ton. Some weird ones that don't see a lot of play. Yeah, I love doing that. I block here and block here. Okay, so they have 4 untapped, or 4 unblocked. So 4 times this is 8, 12... 16, 17 damage. 17 damage, but they're going to gain 1, so they're going to go to 2. But if I cast the rally, I have to tap this Inspector, and if I tap that, then we're taking 3, 13. Only 13 if they don't get an untapped gate, of which they're going to have like 1 or 2 heap gates. I mean, we're casting this regardless. We'll also see if they have a counter spell, because obviously that'll change things. Cast down on the Skyfisher. Well, they're not going to die then. Our guys do get to live. They take 9. Yeah, not really a reason to cast the rally then. They didn't pop the relic, so I actually have Strands this turn, which is interesting that they would let that happen. There's the Arms of Hadar. So if I cast rally, it keeps all 4 of my Inspectors alive. I don't get to Strands, but Strands doesn't look super relevant anyway. And I really need these Inspectors to be alive, because otherwise we just have a 2/3 Inspector. Yeah, so we got to cast this. We're still going to lose the Informant, but we still have some creatures, so if we get like a Choco, or, I mean, a Guardian's Pledge would probably just win us the game. No, because they could take yeah, it wouldn't win us the game. We have a Clue, though. If we get Guardian's Pledge and like our last Journey or something, we can maybe do that, right? They still don't hit their gate. That's not a bad draw. We have the mana, so we'll crack a Clue, and we get a Strands. If I don't leave up Strands, I could die. They didn't just get a gate. I think we got to go for the Battle Screech. This makes it so just about any Anthem kills them. Well, any Anthem does kill them if we don't get board wiped again, which, you know, we're hoping doesn't happen. They pump the cat. We're going to have to take 6 this time, but that's fine. Squadron Hawk. Okay. They only have 2 blockers. Come on, give me a Choco. Give me something. Give me some sort of pump. And we'll take this game down. They got some Hawks. Hey, there we go. Guardian's Pledge. I don't think there's any way they can kill us here. If I leave this back, block, they're still super dead. Oh wait, no, they're at 16. Why was I forgetting? Okay. Let's do some math, because I was like, oh, they're still at 10, but they're not. Okay, so they block here, they block here. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 18 damage, right? 1, 2, 18. 6 times 3, correct. Okay. I'm leaving one back just on the off chance. I mean, the only way I can imagine losing here is if they have like a foil. But theoretically, if they did have a foil, then leaving back a creature for the Strands would be good. And if they don't have a foil, we did our math, we still win. All right, well, we ended up getting there. That's not bad. Celestial Flare. Yeah, that's a decent card. Pretty cheap removal. Can definitely get a Terror or a Bogle or something. Target player sacrifices an attacking or blocking creature, but if they have multiple creatures attacking, it can obviously be kind of rough. Definitely before White got its Thraben Charm, I think that was a decent card, but now Thraben Charm's just so good. It's cool, but Ride's End I like because of the exile. Yeah, for sure. I think Right End is probably a little better. I used Fierce Retribution and things like that before. Nice. Hand's okay. We have some good removal. Not as much advantage as I'd want. I'd prefer an Inspector here, but if we are against like a burn deck, Veteran obviously is very welcome. All right, against something Dimir. Well, more veterans. I mean, Graveyard Hate and just generally removal is pretty good against Dimir, whether they're Terror or Fairies. Abandon Attachments. Discarding a Snacker. Pretty good. Wish we had the Charm for it right away. More Charms. I could just Journey it to nowhere. Not sure that's necessary. I think Abandon Attachments Snacker looks like it's probably going to be Dimir. Obviously Dimir. Dimir Terror. So Journey could be really good for Gurmag or Terror. I don't necessarily want to waste it. Thraben Charm obviously can take those down too, as long as we have enough creatures, but that could be more susceptible if they have some removal or like a Suffocating Fumes in response. Dig and Ride's End a lot, almost like it more than Journey. I can definitely see it being better in the right matchup, better than Journey. I like Journey here because I usually use it more aggressively, so I can take out a blocker, whereas Ride's End would obviously be 5 mana for that. But if you're more of a control deck, certainly a Gates deck or something, I think the Ride's End could definitely be better. Oh, actually, it looks like they're Dimir Spirits. Shipwreck Sifters. Graveyard Hate's going to be good for that. Journey to Nowhere might be good for the Sifters. They discard Abandoned Attachments. That's a pretty good card to get rid of. So their hand must be stacked. Skyfisher. Do I just want to take out the Sifters now? They could play some Snuff Outs. I don't know if I want to Thraben Charm it. Be good value, but yeah, I'm just not sure. I think we'll just see what they do. I'm just going to like double Veteran here. Gain some life. I could have Skyfishered, but nothing I really want to pick up. It starts gaining us some life, which, like, there's definitely matches where a veteran is less relevant. But even in the less relevant matches, like having 2 or 3 veterans is going to add up. Like, any burn deck you want any amount of life gain against, but even if you're against like a Terror deck or a Spirits deck, like gaining 3 life per creature is still an insane amount of life, you know? I was having a hard time against my friend's Black Sack list when his creatures got out of bolt range. Yep, definitely Ride's End and Journey and stuff like that is good for that time. I cycle Lorien for their land. I also didn't mind trading 2 for 2 here with the Snacker because we have the life gain from the veterans. This does open up the Sifters to attacking potentially, but I think that's okay. Another attachments with a Kitchen Imp. Okay. Well, if I knew I was trading 2 for 4, I might not have done that. But that's okay. We'll go to 18. Now we get a Plains. So let's see. Probably just swing, play our other Skyfisher, hold up Thraben Charm. I think I'm just bouncing the Grange. We don't really get any value from bouncing the Veteran. I could bounce Skyfishers, perpetually do that to like keep gaining life. We're not really in the spot yet to do that. Like, if I had 1,000,000 mana, I would probably do that. But I think the Grange counter is the most relevant here. And then we have a blocker for these. If they kill it, then I can, like, Thraben Charm one of them down. So at least we don't have to take 4. There's a Hounds. They only have 3 cards in hand, so that biggest that can be is an 8/8. So I could probably just Thraben Charm that. Or maybe I just save the Journey for it. But we'll see what happens. If they just pass here, I mean, I'd probably Thraben Charm something, right? Yeah, I think it will be the Hounds. I mean, if they somehow get out, I mean, obviously they could counterspell, but if they get out of it in like a different way than that, then at least I still have like backups. Or even if they counterspell this, I can just like Journey the Hounds or whatever. Yeah, that's fine though. Just a Plains. We'll Grange up a Skyfisher. Maybe should have done it to a Veteran. It could start attacking since the Sifters isn't very big. But we'll attack for 3. If they want to double block with Flyers, then I can Thraben Charm. Or I can just let it go. If I Thraben Charm, then they can get the Snacker back from the graveyard, but I could always Journey it later. I kind of like my 3/4 Skyfisher, so I think I'll keep it around. This also lets me start attacking with both Skyfishers, which can be pretty fast clock, like 3 turns right now. They could have a Dahadas play to gain some life at some point, but alright, looks like we just had the upper hand there. Destroy Evil can blow up their big guys. Journey's good too. Spirits list is making the rounds now, pretty sweet. Yeah, I've been liking it quite a bit. I obviously have played it in a few videos, but I originally saw it from Kerblinski, who's made a few videos on it, and yeah, definitely pretty sweet to see it around. This looks kind of like our only sideboard cards. Like, we don't need the life gain, don't need Artifact or Enchantment Hate, Standard Bearer doesn't matter, Holy Light, their guys are bigger than that except for the Snacker. No Dust to Dust. So yeah, it's just these 2. Strands is decent here, but I like Unicorn. Veteran's not super relevant. I think maybe we'll cut like a Strands and a Veteran. Sure. But definitely want the Journey because it's just a nice way to exile a Snacker or a Spirit or whatever, and then Destroy Evil can blow up the Hounds or the Sifters that get big. Don't think they're going to have any enchantments to hit, but if they do, I have Destroy Evil plus Thraben Charms to get it, so we'll be okay there too. Alright, we have some 1-drops with some card draw. We have Prismatic Strands. This isn't a deck where we specifically need to mulligan for anything, I don't think, since it's just kind of mid-range v mid-range. so we'll just keep this one. Rally's pretty good. Start with an Inspector. Unicorn doesn't do anything until late game, and Inspector always gives us the potential if I want to just crack a clue instead of casting spells, which if they leave up like counterspell mana, I very well might. They go for a Sifters though. See if they have like an Eidolon to discard. They didn't last time. There's a Snacker. So Thraben Charm wouldn't be terrible either. I think I just want to get some more guys down. This also lets us hold up Rally, so I can attack with our Inspector. They'll probably block, because like what could we have? And then I could use it to kill their Sifter, which is not bad value. Unless they have a Snuff Out, which I'm not expecting, just because like most lists I've seen don't run this Snuff Out. But if they have like an Arms of Adar, I'd rather keep the Rally to keep my guys alive later, I think. Yeah, we ended up, with all our journeys and stuff, we have 9 removal spells, so we have plenty of other ways to get rid of the Sifters. And we only have one free way to keep all of our Inspectors from dying to an Arms of Adar, so. Or maybe later, you know, we get a Battle Screech and they go for Suffocating Fumes. So, I would have liked to get them there, but I think the Rally's going to be more beneficial in other ways. Another Sifters. They could discard an Eidolon here. They could discard a Kitchen Imp. Spellbomb is fine for us. Doesn't do much. They do have something up. There's the Battle Screech. Not expecting a one mana kill spell or way to counter this. And since we have the Rally for an Arms of Adar, I think we'll just play it out. And then probably crack a Clue. We don't really have anything else to do anyway. Plus, cracking the Clue lets us... gives us an extra hit to try to find a land, so I can go Battle Screech next turn into like Unicorn Rally. Could be really, really strong. And they got 2 mana for something. How was your vacation, by the way? It was good. Went up to visit some family, parents and siblings and whatnot, a couple hours away, and yeah, just stayed with them for a bit. I've been making Christmas dinner for my family for the last couple years, so I did that, which was always a little stressful, but quite fun. So I enjoyed that. And yeah. Also had Christmas with my, what am I trying to say? My wife's family as well. So able to see a lot of people we don't always see, which was pretty nice. They have an attachments double Snacker after we cracked a Clue. Pretty good, because then we can't Thraben Charm them. We didn't have the Thraben Charm, but now we drew it, so that's a bit unfortunate. But we do get the planes, so we get to Battle Screech here, which is pretty good. Same, I make Christmas Eve dinner, always nerve-wracking a bit. Yeah, I try to change it up every year, so I'm not making the same thing. So it's also like learning new recipes that I do try to make them at least once within like a month beforehand, but definitely a bit nerve-wracking, like you said. But it was good. We also planned a draft. So me, a couple brothers, and some friends, we did a Innistrad Cube, original Innistrad Cube draft. My brother has a couple set cubes and has been working on several others. So 4 commons, 2 uncommons, 1 rare, 1 mythic in it. And then he tries to emulate like actually opening up a booster pack as much as possible. And yeah, it was really sweet. I had a spider spawning deck that was pretty cool. I went 2-0, went to the finals, but then lost in the finals. But the spider spawnings themselves did not actually do super well, because I kind of forgot about the fact that spider spawning should actually be in the green-blue deck, splashing the black, and I just had it in a green-black deck, because there's not much mill in black, and all the mill is in blue, basically, so deck wasn't perfect, but it was a good time. We took the damage from the Snackers, because I don't want to lose guys. Agony Warp to kill the Unicorn. That's pretty annoying. I can't keep it alive because this only gives +1 toughness, so that's just going to happen. I was definitely going to Unicorn attack and then like Rally attack. Alright, how many eggs do we want to put in this basket? Because I can go for a Battle Screech, flash it back, and if they only have a Suffocating Fumes, I can prevent that with a Rally, assuming there's no counterspell. But we could definitely just lose all our stuff. Well, let's just attack for 4 first, and then... what else are we doing? Holding up with Prismatic Strands? I mean, I guess we already have enough creatures that if we got like a Guardian's Pledge or a Choco, we probably would win, so maybe I didn't need to do this, but like if they have an Arms of Adar, I can keep my Inspectors alive, but not my birds, so that'd be a bit unfortunate. But anyway, yeah, overall, it was a really nice holiday. It was nice having some time off. What about you and everyone else here? How was your various holidays, vacations, and whatnot over the last couple weeks? Another attachments for a swamp, play a land. If they don't have anything, we're going to be in a pretty good spot, that's for sure. Also, they do have an enchantment. I thought about saying Modern Age, but I don't usually see this list with Modern Age, so it's definitely something new. They have 3 mana. If I go on the offensive, I feel like it would have been silly for them to hold up a Fumes, because what if I have a Guardian's Pledge when I was tapped out? But if I go on the offensive and then go for a Rally, and then they do have it, I mean, I'm cooked. Like, I lose everything. They could also just have a counterspell. I don't care about their graveyard at the moment. Like, usually I would, but they don't have snackers there yet. They don't have other stuff. So I could just Thraben Charm this. I don't know. I think another Battle Screech to follow up if we do lose everything. Or I could Strands. So I could attack with most everything and then Strands the blue so we don't lose our birds. Yeah, I think we're doing that. Strands for blue and Rally probably. Because even if I Rally, I'm still going to lose 3 birds. Strands, I think, is worth 3 birds. I think I Strands first in case they want to counterspell it. I don't know. Maybe they'll be like, oh, I don't care about this, and then they'll have a Spell Pierce, and I got a little bit by doing it this way, but I think more than likely, if they have a counterspell, it looks like we're tapped out and not going to cast anything else, so I think this is a fine thing to counter, but we're going to do that, and then we're going to do this, because it lets us eat these and just deal them 5 more damage, but eating the Sifters is the big thing here. They just have a cast down, that's totally fine, and they kill a bird. Alright, so they're 8. Now if they have like an Arms of Adar, we get wiped, but we do have a Battle Screech to follow up, and they don't have many cards. I guess Snackers could come back, you know. If they had like Abandoned Attachments, get back Snackers, there's one, into Arms of Adar, we could definitely lose this game still. Here's hoping that doesn't quite happen. Alright, we get that match. Alright, another 1-lander. Not gonna keep it. This one is not very good, but we do have the Battle Screech. Guess we'll get rid of his Strands. Hope it's not a match where we really want that. And it looks like Mono White Heroic. So, I mean, I don't mind keeping the Thraben Charm, but definitely a match where we would want Prismatic Strands. Although they mulligan low and only have 1-lander, so we might be okay here. Sentinel's Eyes, attack for 2. Alright, we get Strands back. Skyfisher, bounce this guy. Play him again. So we're probably going to Screech next turn. If we get like a Guardian's Pledge, we can kind of just win in the air. If not, I can Thraben Charm down the Trailblazer. Although they're leaving up a mana, so they might very well have an Emerge Unscathed. But we also do have a Strands. There's Ethereal Armor. They have Homestead Courage, so 10 damage. It's a 10-14. I can't kill it with the guys I have right now. Oh, they have a Hyenumbra. I was going to say, so I could Thraben Charm. I could keep my guys and then Thraben Charm it, but they have a Hyenumbra, so I probably just chump. Try not to take damage I don't need to. I can always blow up this Ethereal Armor, which is giving +3, or I could just hold up Strands here. I think that's what we do. We play an Inspector. Now we just attack for 5. Strands also makes it so if they get like Lifelink or something, we're going to survive. That buys us 2 turns. Yeah, we should be okay, I think. I could also chump with an Inspector, but I actually might need all my creatures for the damage. I'm about to give this pro white. If they do that with an Emerge Unscathed, they lose all of their auras, but they might not know that, or they might be doing like a Benevolent Blessing, which would keep them on. Either way, I'm just going to cast this Strands. Prevent all damage from white sources. Doesn't matter if I chump or anything, because nothing will die. And they have a Skyguard, okay. So if I take this off, it's still a 7. It's still a really big guy. I could Thraben Charm the Skyguard, but they might. I think they have an Emerge Unscathed based on how they've played it. Let's just attack with these. If they want to like block and then Unscathed, they can do that, and then I can Thraben Charm it in response. Yep, that's what I thought. Shoot this guy. So they'll take 4. Skyfisher, pick up an Inspector. So now we have 7 damage in the air, 8 if we attack with all our Inspectors. So I just need any way to pump by even just 1, like an Idyllic Range would do it. And that doesn't matter because we're just flashing this back anyway. Another Prismatic Strands is pretty good. We'll see if we can just win here, but if not, we just have a Strands that's going to prevent them from winning, and we'll kill them next turn. Pretty good draw. Alright. We take that game down. This should be a pretty decent one for us. Destroy Evil, Journey to Nowhere, Revoke Existence, Standard Bearers. We get a lot of answers to them. Plus we already have all of these. We don't need a Unicorn because we're not going to go that late. Rally's not probably necessary. We still want ways to like clean up their board, or like clean up the game quicker. But all of these are better, so maybe we just take out like Informants are just bigger chump blockers, more expensive. So I think we can just cut those pretty without any issue. Not being too upset about it. Alright. They could definitely get a Benevolent Blessing or something to gain protection from white, in which case we could lose if we don't get like all our Strands like we did before. But we also have a good amount of enchantment removal that can remove that, then we'll be okay. This hand's not very good in general, but especially here, where we have a lot of hate pieces, I'd rather get a hand with them. And this has those hate pieces. It has a Standard Bearer. If they don't have a way to kill this, the only way for them to not have to target it with everything is for them to Benevolent Blessing it. Actually, they can kill it with the Deathblade Elite. That's pretty good too. Well, that changes things. I drew an Inspector, so I can play that, but they can also just kill that if they have any way to buff their guy, which they surely will. I think I'm just going to wait, because I only have a couple creatures, and my creatures currently are my removal spell for this Thraben Charm. Now, if they just, like, double ethereal armor here, I can just destroy evil this guy. But if they get like a Hyena Umbra or something, then I'm going to have to like blow up 2 things. So there's a Trailblazer. Yeah, so they do have a way to give protection, or they might have a way to give protection. If I just run out the Standard Bearer, it just probably dies. Let's just take it slow for now. And if they had something at instant speed here, like a solid footing, I'd probably just blow up the Trailblazer with the Destroy Evil. So I can focus on just 1 creature. Homestead Courage, okay. Just that. Yeah, so I think I'll try to blow this up. They probably have Emerge Unscathed, but then I can play Thraben Inspector and Thraben Charm to blow up the Elite. And by the Elite being dead, I can probably play a Standard Bearer. This is a lot of ways just to make sure the Standard Bearer survives, but Bearer is important. And I mean, if we get the Bearer down, it's pretty good, but this Trailblazer is also going to be like a 6-power creature, so just the Bearer is not going to win us the game unless it's earlier. Like, for this one, we could definitely lose. Because this, I guess if they give pro white, they probably shouldn't here, because then they can't like buff it in any other way. But it lets it get through. I don't know. Yeah, they go pro black. I think that makes sense. And now they have the Blessing for pro white. Okay, I can Thraben Charm that though, if we really need. So here we're going to play a Standard Bearer. I'm going to grow the Bearer just in case they have like a Deathblade Elite. So this, they can't target this with just about anything. Or this, so it's only 5 power, but as pro white, so we're dead in 2 turns. No, because I'm just going to Thraben Charm it. And then Chump. Yeah, although actually Emerge Unscathed is target creature you control. But luckily I'm not targeting their creature. I'm targeting their Blessing here. And if they have another Blessing, they have to target the Bearer. So this lets me Chump. I mean, I'm not happy about it, I'm just chumping, but if I get like a Battle Screech or something, that'll keep us above them in creatures, and then if we get another Thraben Charm, or Journey to Nowhere is, I guess, our best bet. Oh, they have a Thraben Charm. They play Thraben Charm? That's annoying. I killed our Bearer. And I did get the Battle Screech, but I don't have the Bearer, so now I can't flash that back. It's still 2 guys. I could crack a Clue and maybe hit a Journey, though. If I don't, I play an Inspector, and the Battle Screech next turn I can flash back. No, because I have to chump with the Inspector, probably. I don't know. I guess we're playing this. We definitely have a lot of ways to answer their guys, but this was a bit of an awkward draw. We gotta chump every turn, I think, because if we let them go and go down to like 5, the moment they have an unblockable, or rather protection spell, we lose. Another Trailblazer's pretty good, though. Let's crack this. We do get the Journey. Now they have 2 creatures, so they're going to be able to go in on the other one, but Journey taking away this big guy is definitely pretty good. I'm playing an Inspector. Yeah, I'll attack for 1. I'll probably chump with the Inspector if they get big enough. I could have left back the Bird to chump so that if I get a Skyfisher, I can pick up the Inspector. But to be honest, if they make the Trailblazer big enough that I want to chump with the Inspector, then I'll probably want to Skyfisher the Journey to Nowhere. So I think that's my better bet. Yep, Ethereal Armor. They're still being a little safe with it because they have this Homestead Courage they didn't use. Strands is good. Let's see if we get another Journey, though. Guardian's Pledge. No. Okay. Strands does buy us 2 turns. To be honest, now I guess it's not lethal here, but I also want to use my mana because if I get like a Battle Screech or something. Okay, yeah, I was going to let them, I let them go to blocks so that if they had a solid footing, they would cast that. That's going to be lethal. So now we Strands and hopefully find the Journey to Nowhere. No, because now they have a Benevolent Blessing. They have everything. Okay, we're dying, probably. Now we need Enchantment Removal and then a Journey to Nowhere. Inspector, crack a Clue. Well, we do have time. That's something. Flashback Strands, because I can't block. On white. 1 damage. It'll add up eventually, maybe. Cast another Strands. We saw they had a Thraben Charm, so they could have another and exile their graveyard and we just die here. But we'll see. Play an Inspector, crack a Clue. We get the Skyfisher to pick up the Journey, but it doesn't matter right now. So I could pick up the Journey in case I get the Thraben Charm or Revoke Existence, of which we still have 4 in the deck. Or I could just pick up an Inspector and draw an extra card. I think we go for the extra card, because if I get the removal spell for the Benevolent Blessing, then I can chump block and I don't actually need to Journey it. Whereas if I don't, every card could matter for finding our last Strands or something else. Because currently we're dead next turn. We're dealing them 10 though, so if I get like another Guardian's Pledge, that would win us the game. Prismatic Strands would buy us more time. The Raven Charm or something would like let us live, at least. There's a Wonderweave Aerialist and an Armor. Well, that throws off the winning with the Guardian's Pledge. Eagles of the North. Oh, right, we have this Battle Screech from forever ago. I could have flashed that back last turn. And they block. It wouldn't quite be lethal, but I'm dead to this unless I get the removal spell. Well, the enchantment removal spell. I can't afford it now, but I guess we might as well play this. Idyllic Range. Nope, now we're dead. All right, well, we held on as long as we could. We didn't Battle Screech at the end there, which we should have, but it wouldn't have made a difference, actually. All right, try to not to have as awkward of a draw, better removal. One lander is not going to cut it. We got to have a fast start. Yeah, this one has the Standard Bearer, which is good. Last turn it didn't work out because they had the Deathblade Elite, but now that we're on the play, it might be fine because I could like Strands to keep it alive or something. I don't know if I get the land. I guess if they just play Deathblade here, I can't play the Standard Bearer, but maybe they just don't have the Deathblade. A lot of these decks don't run as many Deathblades anymore. Okay, that's good. They also have Thraben Charm, which we know about. They can't play it this turn, and then I can hold up Strands to make sure that if they try to kill it... Oh, there's the Deathblade, of course. Yeah. They can't pump it up, so they could just block and they'd trade. I mean, we'll just pass here. I guess they could try to trade... Yeah, they could target with an Emergent Scathed after blocks, so they don't lose the Deathblade, I guess. Because, like, it's not the worst thing ever if this trades for one of their creatures. But if they try to keep it alive with like an Emergent Scathe, I will go for the Strands. Might go for the Strands anyway, because it just holds them off longer from making their guys any bigger. Oh, Homestead Courage. Put a counter on target creature you control. Wow, these cards gotta target only creatures you control. That's not fair. They gotta do it again, otherwise I could just double block, or they could cast something else. Yeah, and now we get to Strands. Plains. I could crack a Clue. I think I just want to get as many creatures down as possible to make their Deathblade harder to keep alive if they want to attack in. And we want more clues here, so we'll do this. So now we'll have 5 damage. So they have to make this bigger than a 5/5. Otherwise, we'll just let it trade with like the Bearer and like Inspector or something, and that'll be fine for us. Of course, I can also flash back the Strands, but we'll see what they want to do. If I block like this, yeah, if I block like this, they can only kill one of them. And so I could flash this back, but if they want to trade this for this, then they get a heroic creature. No, I think we should keep it alive as long as possible, even if it's only one more turn, because it's holding them off from building up another creature. And if I do get like a Journey to Nowhere or a Thraben Charm or something to kill this Deathblade Elite, then like they're probably just gonna lose to this Standard Bearer. We'll crack a Clue. There's the Thraben Charm. They could cast Emergent Scathed on their guy, but if we do that on their turn, they're going to have to do it before blocks, which means my guy won't be able to block them. So I think I just attack with everything here, and then pass. And Provoke untaps the creature, so they can still just do this, which is partially why I thought about leaving back the Skyfisher to still do the double block, but I'm hoping this works. Either it kills the Deathblade, or they go for Emergent Scathe to give it pro-white, which means that the Standard Bearer can't block anyway, so then they don't get to kill it again. Yep, they go for the Unscathed. So I cannot block, so it will not. I'll take 3. We get another Thraben Charm, so I could do that again. They're going to have the Emergent Scathed already, but I guess they either get to give pro-white. Yeah, we just attack again. Play an Inspector for more damage, then we pass. So they have the Rebound coming, but if they choose pro-white, then they can't use it on the Standard Bearer. They can't attack the Standard Bearer, and if they don't choose pro-white, then I can still just Thraben Charm them and do the same thing as last time. Protection from red. They're going to Thraben Charm the Standard Bearer this time. I'm going to try to shoot their guy in response. See what they got. All right. Definitely some back and forth. Some interesting games there. More interesting than usually with Mono White Heroic, but we ended up getting there, which is nice. Going into the last match. Let's see if we can get a 4-1. All right, round 5 here. Not the best hand ever, just because we don't have a 1-drop, mostly. But Thraben Charm can be really good in a lot of matches. These guys are pretty high value. Elves is always a tough matchup. Thraben Charms help, having a couple removal spells, but having no 1-drop is unfortunate, so if they just play like a Timberwatch Elf here, I can't kill it right away, which could be pretty unfortunate. I go for a Winding Way, and they get some pretty good hits. Now we draw our 1-drop. I think we're definitely playing Informant, because we're not Skyfishing and picking up nothing. I'm not wasting my mana either. More removal is good. I don't really think we need this rally, and like, I mean, even 3 removal spells might not be enough against elves, but taking the first Priest, Timberwatch Elf, etc. might be good enough. There's a Quarian Ranger that gives them an extra mana. Nice little ritual. And they just play Avenging Hunter. Okay. Well, that is interesting. Journey to Nowhere is also really unfortunate because they play Masked Vandals in the main deck. So, don't really want to journey the Avenging Hunter, but I think I just play Inspector and Thraben Charm this and then attack. They could chump or trade, either of which I'm pretty okay with. Or they could let us take the initiative, which is also pretty good. Theoretically, they could have like a hexproof spell here, but I can't do much about that. And it seems unlikely. So, yeah, they're gonna untap the elves, go for a chump. No, they are going to go for a trade. I mean, keeping the initiative is really good for them. Losing 2 guys is not terrible for us. Hey, how's it going, Netu Kissa? Glad you're here. Undercity grows the Mystic. They have 2 forests we know about in hand. Perfectly pronounced? Is that sarcasm? I don't know. I was worried about it, for sure. They play the Priest. No, it's not? Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Well, I probably want to kill the Priest, but I also want to take that initiative. So, do I just Thraben Charm and Journey? I don't love having to use a removal spell for the Elvish Mystic, but it is a 3/3. Taking the initiative feels pretty good. Or I could just like Battle Screech. We could easily take the initiative next turn, but then they have way too much mana. I don't like that. Alright, we gotta... I mean, I guess Journey... Okay, I think we do this. I Journey the Mystic. Well, yeah, I mean, like, if I attack, there's no way they chump, but then I'm not doing anything else either, right? I'm still just killing this because I don't want the Priest to be around. So yeah, let's just do it. Genuinely impressive. Everyone else butchers it. Okay, well, I'm glad that I got there. Journey on Mystic is not that bad with Core, I think. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's definitely a lot less bad because I can pick it up with the Skyfisher later if I want. So I totally agree. That is a good call. And now, I mean, they only have 3 mana. Initiative's pretty good. You get a Well-Wisher and an Elves. I mean, scrying would be nice, but we've already hit a lot of our removal. So I'm not really sure what else I'm looking for. I guess a pump spell for the Battle Screech, just so we can clean this game up pretty quickly. But if we're trying to do that, Forge plus 5 damage is pretty good. Is this just normal mono green to elves, or does this one contain Spy? I assume it's mono green. I haven't seen any indication it's Spy, and usually Avenging Hunter and Well-Wisher are good cards to indicate that it's mono green. Oh, I guess if I'm going to Battle Screech, I'm going to tap this guy, so the counters don't even matter this turn, and then it could easily get blocked by something next turn. I think we're going to Lost Well, because if I could find like a Guardian's Pledge, maybe just another Battle Screech. Of course, they do have a Well-Wisher, so damage is going to be tough to keep on them, but an extra Battle Screech probably helps with that. Yeah, I think we just do this. I also do have this Core Skyfisher Journey whenever I want it, which probably isn't going to be used on the Well-Wisher, but it could be, theoretically, if all they get is a bunch of Mana Dorks and like Quarian Rangers, and Well-Wisher can tap for like 8 life. Then I'll definitely take it out later. But for now, I think building up our aerial forces is pretty good. Oh, last night I was playing a match against Elves, and we literally went to, I mean, they almost timed out. They conceded before they timed out, but they were at 3 minutes in game 1. It was 22 minutes on their side. It was like 14 minutes on my side. And so that's what I'm used to for Elves. So I was not expecting them to concede. Usually it takes a lot longer. All right, we do get a lot of removal, though. We already have 3 Journeys, 4 Thrabens. Now we get another Journey, another Destroy Evil. Well, first Destroy Evil. We get Holy Lights, and we get Standard Bearers. That's probably it. Played against Spy Elves last Thursday, facing the Pauper League leader, and won 2-0. Very nice. That's always good to, pretty good to happen. Crushing the leader, also just crushing Spy is always a good feeling. We don't need life gain from the veterans, so we can cut those. Unicorn's really good. Strands is kind of a weird one. It's good only if we're like, it's usually only good if we're like behind, but we often do get behind. I think Rafine's Informant as a ground creature is kind of, it was decent there. The fact that they traded 2 of those, I think, was a huge mistake. But in general, it just gets like blocked pretty easily. It's 2 mana. It's decent, sometimes with Battle Screech and whatnot, but I think maybe we just do this. Sadly, I went against Jund Wildfire, never won that matchup, and Black Green Fog, never played against that deck before, so didn't gain any points to top 12. 2 league weeks left, so probably missing playoffs this season. That is a bit unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear. We're just discussing setting up our next league at my store. Sounds like it's going to start like March. So we're still playing every couple weeks, but sounds like it's going to be a couple weeks before we start getting more prizes and stuff like that. Bigger stuff. I mean, this hand is anti-elves dot hand, I guess. Like Holy Light's great, Standard Bear's great. Remosian Rally looks to be the card to get rid of here. I will say some elves decks have started playing the it's like a fight spell, or a punch spell rather, but it can get a creature from your hand as ways to kill Standard Bearer. And I did once get them with a Remosian Rally for free to keep this guy alive, so like part of me thinks that might be the thing to keep around, but I just think all the removal's too good. I don't know. I'm 7 points behind 12th, and look like I really need to get those 6 to 9 point weeks now. Yeah. Well, good luck in the next couple weeks. I hope you're able to get there. Sounds hype. Hope there's a great turnout. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. We usually, once we're doing actual league stuff, get like 8 to 12 pretty consistently, which is not bad. Obviously, it could be a little more. And then last season, at the end of that, we did like a 1K to finish it off, and we got 23 people for that, so that was pretty good. All right, they're missing a land drop. They got a priest. I'm probably just going to have to... We got the land. Okay. It's really tough here, because Holy Light obviously takes care of priest, but I also can't let them have this much mana. I could Standard Bearer, but they could still play like an Avenging Hunter. That's terrible. I can't let them have an Avenging Hunter this early. I think we got to Journey the priest. I don't know. Maybe with the right draws, like I could Skyfisher the Journey. Priest comes back and then I Holy Light. Or maybe I just Holy Light these two guys right here. I think that's what we do. They're on 1 mana after all. This is a nice 2-for-1 and just keeps them on 1 mana. They were also a little... I don't know what their hand was last game, but they were a little premature to concede, so for all we know, they could concede with like some beatdown here, but they do find the land and a Mystic. That's not terrible. I don't have much else actually though. I could play the Standard Bearer. Prismatic Strands doesn't matter. I can play the Chocomog, but it's not pumping anything and it dies in a couple turns. I'm just going to Standard Bearer. Standard Bearer is good because it prevents them from using Quarian Ranger on their own guys, Nyxborn Hydra Bestow, Timberwatch Elf Pump. I think there's a 4th thing, but those are the main 3. It's a great number of players. We have 15 plus players each week. The league runs bi-weekly. But the start years ago, having only 4 players was not unheard of. Yeah, I mean we moved stores this last season, and we've only really been building it up for about a year and a half, I think, to 2 years. So it was definitely less before that, but we've started getting a little bigger and definitely trying to make things happen. This is the card I was talking about, Monstrous Emergence. Casts it, targeting standard, chooses Elvish Mystic. Yeah, so I don't necessarily think it was wrong, but if I had the rally, the Remosian Rally, I could cast it right here to get this to be a 2/2, and it would survive this Monstrous Emergence. Which could be relevant, especially because these Thraben Charms are not doing anything for us at the moment. I could play the Chocomog just to get our Thraben Charms online. I think I need to for that reason, but also they could still have an Avenging Hunter, and if they hit a 5th mana this turn, and they play Avenging Hunter, and if I have no creatures, then we're probably just going to lose that, whereas if they do that, I could double Thraben Charm the Hunter, maybe I get lucky and I draw a creature into killing the Hunter. Yeah, Lead the Stampede's pretty good for them, though. There's the Hunter and an Elves, so they could play Elves and then Hunter next turn. Novice Inspector. I mean, I could Thraben Charm some of their Mystics down, but that doesn't seem great. Plus, I think I'd rather just kill their Hunter, so I think we'll just do this. There was a time in the LGS that I play that we were getting 30 plus players every week. It was nice. Yeah, that sounds great. Masked Vandal, blow up our Journey, get their Priest back. Pretty good. No, exile the Choco. Okay, I don't actually care too much about that because this guy is going to go away anyway. I could exile their Graveyard to prevent this, but this only gets in like 1 more hit and then it dies. Yeah, I think it's fine for that reason. It's just kind of a bridge between us not having any other creatures. There's the Timberwatch Elf. Well, that guy's got to die, so let's make sure he dies. Plains. Let's crack a clue. Give me something good, like a Skyfisher. Screech is good, but not... It's really awkward here because I can't Screech now, and then I can't Thraben Charm the Hunter that they're about to play. And then next turn, if I Battle Screech, I can't Charm unless I draw land. But overall, it's pretty good. Like, if they go for the Hunter and then I Battle Screech, and then the following turn, I can attack, take the Monarch, not the Monarch, the Initiative, Thraben Charm the Hunter, and then Prismatic Strands. So, like, that could definitely lead to us winning. But they have to kind of do nothing else for that to just work out perfectly. Do you have a lot of players making the switch to Pauper, or how do you get new people to add to your local community? Yeah, a lot of people making the switch. I think Pauper's just been kind of up and coming for a while. I did like a video tournament report for this Win a Duel last month, and there were 33 players there. It was in Louisville. 33 players, and like literally half of my opponents that I talked to said they'd never played Pauper before, and that they were just starting, you know, they came from Standard or they came from Modern or whatever. And I think it was partially that there was a pretty good prize, the dual land, on the line, but also I think just people have been wanting something different. Like, this has obviously been my main format for a little while, but I understand. I have played Standard before. I've played Modern before. I've played a lot of formats before, and I understand that a lot of them are not great. And Pauper's not perfect, but it's pretty dang close a lot of the time, I think. So yeah, definitely a lot of people making the switch. As far as our like more local community that's like comes out bi-weekly, yeah, sometimes we do get to pull more players in that are like, oh, I just want to try this format or whatever. And also just a lot of newer players to the game in general who are like, oh, I just want to play something relatively cheap. I want to get into Magic, but I don't want to pay $700 for a deck or whatever. And that's nice too. All right, we take a big hit here, but I can Thraben Charm the Generous Ent, get in for a bunch, take the Initiative, and then Prismatic Strands to keep it around. Pauper's affordable definitely makes it even more attractive. Yes, 100%. I could also just throw away a bird and keep the charm for something else, like killing the hunter. But I think the flyers, like with the Battle Screech, the flyers are going to be the way we win this anyway. So I think, yeah, 10 damage to this guy. Get in for 4. They're also out of cards, so hopefully they don't get a lead the Stampede or whatever. And this Strands kind of just carries us. Pauper's probably the best, the most fun I've had besides drafting. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I mean, I've certainly had, like, yeah, draft is my other format, my other love, as for sure, that I really enjoy. But of course, even drafting can be a little pricey, you know, even if it's $15 for a draft, you know, if you're doing that every week or whatever, it's nicer sometimes to just have a deck that you've played, that you've already bought that you don't have to pay for. You know, $5 entry or whatever, but a little cheaper. But yeah, definitely my next favorite format is limited. Every time I play it pre-release, I spread the Pauper word for other players that don't play. The format is really good nowadays. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, it's a great format for people to get into. Of course, it's complicated, and of course, it's, you know, competitive, but it still doesn't break the bank, and it is still a lot lower complexity than other formats. So people, like, I've had people who say that they don't think Pauper is a good way for people to start playing Magic. And sure, maybe it's not as easy or like as good as like kitchen table Magic, quote unquote, but it's still a pretty good format to start with, I think. So we'll Strands here, keep the initiative, and now we get to Forge. We get to Battle Screech again, plus we have our Flashback Prismatic Strands. Hit for a bunch. Skyfisher's pretty good. I would say we could pick up this Journey and take this Hunter. Not that we won't need to do that, but like theoretically we could. But actually giving them a Priest of Titania with Aquarian could actually just lose us the game if they gain, you know, 20 mana and then find a Hydra or whatever. But we should just have them dead with these birds next turn, so I don't think I need to worry about it too much. I hope we find another place for running leagues so we could have league every week. Yeah, that is pretty nice. Both of the places that we have 2 stores in our area that run bi-weekly. And generally, there's a little confusion right now, but generally they run off weeks. So you can play every other week on Friday, and then the other weeks you can play on Saturday. So I get my fill every week, which is really nice. You doing the pre-release? I'm not sure. I'm very interested in it. Lorwyn looks pretty sweet, and I never got to play Lorwyn the first time around, so like I'm very interested. Okay, they have the Hunter, but on Saturday there's a 1K that I'm planning to go to for Pauper, so I won't be able to make that. It's possible I could go on like Friday, but I haven't decided. So that's where I'm at. What about you and everybody else who's planning to go to the pre-release? That's a really good draw. We already have them dead, I'm pretty sure, unless they have a fog, but let's just make it definitive by giving our team +1/+1 in vigilance. Swing with everybody in the air. This should be far and away enough damage, and then we also get to trap them for 5 more. All right. Nice 4-1 with White Weenie. Pretty sweet. I'll do the Friday one. I don't think I can make Pauper on Saturday because of work. Unfortunate. Yeah, this deck worked really well. I will say, one of the reasons I've liked having more Journey to Nowheres is because Elves has been very prevalent lately, and this is definitely a deck that loses to Elves if you don't have the proper cards. Like, it loses really easily if you don't have, like, a couple removal spells in Game 1. And in Game 2, a Standard Bearer goes a long way, a Holy Light goes a long way, but you usually still need, like, 2 or 3 pieces to make sure you don't lose. So that's part of why I've liked this list quite a bit. But, yeah, I'm gonna play another league here on stream. But if you're watching the YouTube video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.